What's up, YouTube? This is Mathos97, and welcome to episode number 37 of my WWE 2K15 Universe Mode. And here we are with another episode of Friday Night SmackDown, and we're kicking things off with a bang, as it's the Tag Team Champions, the Wyatt Family, with Bray Wyatt in their corner, defending their titles against the team of Booker T and Goldust. It's the rematch from the Elimination Chamber. As we can see, Damien Sandow and Fandango defeated Los Matadores in tag team competition. Darren Young won his singles match with Xavier Woods of the New Day. Titus O'Neil will go one-on-one with the Intercontinental Champion, the big guy, Ryback. Bo Dallas continues his undefeated streak as he gets a victory over Heath Slater. And in tonight's main event, we will see the Rated R superstar Edge going one-on-one with Wade Bad News Barrett. So that should be one heck of a contest. Really looking forward to that one. But of course, we're starting the episode off with the Tag Team Championship rematch from the Elimination Chamber, as it's Booker T and Goldust taking on the Wyatt family for one last time. And of course, this all came down, or this all took place after, of course, after the matchup when Bray Wyatt made a statement, delivered Sister Abigail to Booker T, and of course, the episode after that on Monday Night Raw, Booker T and Goldust won a tag team match with, well, they won a tag team #1 contenders match against the International Airstrike, which earned them this opportunity. And since we now know, it is official that at WrestleMania, The Shield will be taking on the Wyatt family in a 6-man tag team matchup. So that should be one for the ages. I mean, we've seen The Shield over the past several months. They've been looking pretty impressive. I mean, we take it back to Survivor Series, where The Shield, they defeated The Rock, Steve Austin, and Hulk Hogan all in the same match. They defeated Triple H and Kevin Nash and Scott Hall, the Outsiders, at TLC. They even injured Scott Hall and Kevin Nash in the process, tearing Kevin Nash's quad. And of course, at the Royal Rumble, you know, lately things have been going a bit further south for the Shield, but this past month I think they've turned things around after the Royal Rumble was definitely not successful. I mean, Triple H, he managed to divide and conquer the Shield. I mean, he didn't even have to compete in the Royal Rumble himself to really deal with the Shield. But Triple H, you know, when the Shield has to go up against 27 other men to try to survive in the Royal Rumble matchup, and they get split up like that, we've seen how strong they can be as a unit. But in terms of singles competition, well, we haven't really seen all that much from them. We did see Dean Ambrose win the WWE Championship back at Capital Punishment, but that was, you know, that was a long time ago. Roman Reigns was also a former United States champion, but that was a while ago as well. That was even before Survivor Series. So it has been a while since any member of the Shield has done anything really too noteworthy in the singles competition. But still got to say, in terms of singles athletes, you know, you can't take them too lightly. Even though they have been a bit lackluster in singles competition, they've been more focused as a group, and they've managed to combine their efforts to really tear the house down as a group. They've really run roughshod through the WWE, and that, you know, that's really, if they're being successful in the WWE, I mean, that's really all that matters. It doesn't really matter how they go about achieving that success. The point is, when you get into this business, and you make it to the top, you gotta stay there, and that's what the Shield, I mean, that's what the Shield's doing. They found something that works, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But now let's focus back in at the tag team matchup, as you gotta think the Shield will be watching this one very closely, knowing that they're gonna be facing the Wyatt family at WrestleMania in just a few short weeks. And as we can see right now, Eric Rowan and Luke Harper, this will be a good opportunity for them to perhaps send a message to the Shield before WrestleMania. As we can see right now, Eric Rowan, he tags in Luke Harper. So Luke Harper and Booker T are going to go at it now. At the moment, the Wyatt family have got control as Luke Harper delivers a nice sidewalk slam right there, and follows it up with a nice elbow drop right to the sternum of Booker T. And there's Luke Harper. Well, that's vintage Luke Harper right there. Yeah. Luke Harper knows he's in control, and he's feeling it. And he's just almost sort of mocking Booker T at this point. Look at this. Oh, he was going for a punch, but Booker countered and delivers one of his own right to the face of Harper. But now Harper counters with a nice forearm. And Booker now counters, sending... Oh, nice chop there by Booker. Taking down Harper, but Harper kicks him away. And you got to think, the fact that these two teams have faced each other before, it's going to give, a bit of a taste as to what this matchup tonight is going to be like. But you'd have to think that Booker T and Goldust have planned, you got to think they've definitely come up with a strategy. And perhaps, what they got to do, they have to try to make up for their mistakes that they made at the Elimination Chamber. Look at that move by Harper. But Booker T and Goldust, they've already had one opportunity with the Wyatt family, and they know that this is probably going to be their last if they don't get the job done. So you got to think they're coming in to this matchup with that. They've got that mentality, so they're going to be even more aggressive than they were at the Elimination Chamber. And Goldust has been trying to take down the Wyatt family for the past several months now. Really, ever since Goldust returned. Prior to the Royal Rumble, he tried to take down the Wyatt family with his brother Cody, and then more recently, he's teamed up with Booker T. The Elimination Chamber wasn't a success, but Goldust, he's got one more crack at the tag team titles here tonight, so we'll have to see if Goldust can make this matchup a success. As you can see, at the moment, Goldust is looking pretty good. He hits a nice drop kick there. He's got Luke Harper back on his heels. As Harper was trying to go for an Irish whip, Goldust managed to counter, and that delivers a nice power slam right there, taking down Harper. But of course, while Goldust and Booker T will be more prepared for this matchup, the same goes for the Wyatt family. And this time around, they've got Bray Wyatt at ringside, so that's always just that just adds that extra threat of you never know what Bray Wyatt's gonna do. Bray Wyatt, he may not even have to get involved in this matchup to just have an impact. Just his presence alone is enough to, keep Goldust and Booker T on their toes, perhaps distract them. And then at the same time, Bray Wyatt, he, in terms of, the whole story behind the Wyatt family, where Bray Wyatt almost seems like he's kind of the master, I guess you could say. He's the one who calls the shots. He sort of oversees anything that goes on with the Wyatt family. And, he could be down there barking orders to Rowan and Harper, just saying something, anything to get them fired up, because, Bray Wyatt knows these two men far more than any of us ever could. And that just goes to show, the chemistry that the Wyatt family has, and just overall, Bray Wyatt's just overall presence, whether he's in the ring, at ringside, whatever the case may be with Bray Wyatt, he knows Eric Rowan and Luke Harper better than anybody, and he knows what can get them angry. So, if he really wants them to be... Oh, look at that big boot by Rowan. At the moment, Bray Wyatt hasn't really had to get involved in this matchup. Is Rowan now, with those vicious headbutts, right to the face of Goldust. And of course, Eric Rowan, you might think by looking at him that he's not a very smart man. You might think that, oh, his head's just hollow, no brains up there. But Eric Rowan actually has a ridiculously high IQ. So, I don't know, he's just a bit weird, I guess. It would be the best way to put it. Like I said before, that's, some geniuses, you could consider a genius with borderline insane. You could consider somebody who's insane. Maybe even somebody like serial killers. They seem to be pretty smart. They have an above average intelligence. It just depends on whether or not you want to use that intelligence for something constructive or not. And that's where I feel Eric Rowan falls into. He's using that intelligence to, improve his own wrestling abilities and just find a way to meticulously take apart his opponent in that ring. But Goldust now trying to fight back here as he delivers a nice shot to the gut of Eric Rowan. And now he's got Rowan over there into that corner, but Rowan bounces out and now delivers a knee right to the gut of Goldust. And Goldust still unable to really mount much offense. Scoop slam right there by Eric Rowan. And Rowan could be looking to finish it off here. Just look at Rowan. Rowan's getting all fired up here. He's just waiting for Goldust to get back to his feet. But, oh, Rowan, his arrogance could perhaps cost him here as Booker T takes out Harper now off the ropes. As Rowan, you know, he let Goldust get too much space. Oh, what a kick by Booker. Right to the jaw of Eric Rowan. And I guess arrogance wouldn't really be the word, but Rowan, he was just, you know, he was getting all fired up, just waiting for Goldust to get back to his feet. And he gave Goldust a little bit too much space. Rowan, you know, he had bad ring presence, and that gave Goldust the opportunity to tag in Booker T. And now Booker T coming in like a ball of fire right now as he takes down Rowan with that bulldog. Rowan trying to fight back, but Booker takes Rowan down once again with that nice leg sweep. As Booker T really fired up now. This is just the second wind that the team of Booker T and Goldust needed. Rowan sent into the corner. And here's Booker. Tosses Rowan out. Now look at this. A springboard sunset flip into the cover. 1, 2. But Rowan kicks out at 2. But Rowan now, you can see his mistake definitely costing the Wyatt family here. He delivers a nice punch to the face of Booker, and that staggers Booker. This could be the opening that Rowan needs to perhaps put Booker away. Booker counters, though. Delivers a shot to the back, right in between the shoulder blades. And now look at this. Short arm clothesline right there to Luke Harper, just catching him underneath the chin right there. As Rowan, he's staggered right now. He's dazed. Booker, he needs to take this opportunity to capitalize, but Rowan, oh, he went for that big boot, but instead Booker, able to sidestep it, delivers a clothesline from behind, and that drops Rowan. That big boot could have perhaps taken Booker out of this matchup, but now Booker hits a spine buster, and that could take Rowan out of this thing. Cover, 1. No, not even a 2 count. Rowan kicks out. Now look at Booker. He's picking Rowan up. He's looking for something big here, but Rowan with a punch right to the face, a jaw-jacking shot. And now, this is not looking good for Booker. Rowan, he's got him in the corner, and we've seen this before. Look at Rowan. Harper with a clothesline as Rowan just rushes Harper into the corner. Harper with that all the force of that clothesline cover, but there's Goldust to break it up. And of course, Goldust had that well scouted. He knew what was coming next. And now look at Luke Harper. He's looking to take out Goldust with a face buster. But that gives Booker an opening. Booker perhaps trying to get back in this thing, but Rowan counters, or Harper counters with a big boot to the face. Delivers the knee lift, and now discus clothesline! And that could very well put away Booker T. Harper, if he can just take Goldust pulls down the rope, and that takes out Harper. But now as we look further in the matchup, Harper delivers a discus clothesline to Goldust for his meddling, and now another one to Booker T, because you know, these tag team matches, that's what happens. And now look at Goldust again countering. And that's just kind of what happens in these tag team matchups. When you have a good finish going, the partners, they just go in and break it up. Rowan now with a splash, goes for the cover. 2 count, but again, there's Booker to break it up. This match should have already been over. Luckily enough for Goldust and Booker, it's not, as they've somehow managed to keep themselves alive. Eric Rowan delivers the Uranagi side slam, and that'll put Goldust out for good if he can just take Booker out, and that's exactly what he does there. Rowan delivers a DDT to Booker. Now the cover on Goldust. 1, 2, 3. That is it, folks. Eric Rowan and Luke Harper, they retain their WWE Tag Team Championships here tonight. And, well, look at this. Now Bray Wyatt has entered the ring, and this is not looking good. We've seen this before. Bray Wyatt, he's looking to set Goldust up here for Sister Abigail's kiss. The kiss of death, perhaps. Look at Bray. Sister Abigail delivered to Goldust. And yet another statement made by the Wyatt family here tonight. This time making a statement out of Goldust. Roman Reigns, you claim to live for justice, but just look around you. This world you're living in is a lie. You cannot have justice in a world governed by the damned. This world is full of fear and corruption. Justice is dead, Roman. And yet, you continue to pretend you can save this world from its cruel fate. They've been lying to you, man. There is no such thing as a hero. It's a terrible burden to carry. But I can take it all away. I can fix you, Roman. At WrestleMania, I can bring your suffering to an end. And there you have it, folks. Bray Wyatt, he has accepted Roman Reigns' challenge at WrestleMania with open arms. Bray Wyatt, he is certainly, the Wyatt family is certainly looking dominant. The Shield looking dominant as well. This is going to be a colossal clash of monumental proportions at WrestleMania 30. Man, I cannot wait for WrestleMania. I mean, we got matches like Sting versus The Undertaker, Daniel Bryan and Brock Lesnar, the rematch. We've got now the Shield and the Wyatt family, the World Heavyweight Championship triple threat matchup. I mean, man, this pay-per-view is looking stacked at the moment as we add yet another match to the card. And then, of course, who can forget the Intercontinental Championship Fatal 4-Way match between the two men we'll be seeing in this contest, Titus O'Neil and the Intercontinental Champion Ryback. And then, of course, Darren Young and Cody Rhodes. I think that matchup could perhaps be a contest that could maybe steal the show. I mean, we take a look at 4 aggressive competitors. I mean, of course, we've got the Intercontinental Champion Ryback. His dominance over the entire SmackDown roster has been well documented. And then we take a look at the 3 challengers who really have become very aggressive. We take a look at Cody Rhodes, his journey we've seen over the past few months as he struggled, I mean, of course, way back when at Extreme Rules, back in WWE 13, the very first ever pay-per-view in Universe Mode. Cody Rhodes was pinned by Christian in the Intercontinental Championship triple threat matchup on that night. And we saw how dominant Christian was as an Intercontinental Champion. He held the title all the way up to SummerSlam before Ryback took the title from him. Now we've seen nobody's been able to take the title from Ryback. Even Cody Rhodes, after, a long journey of preparing, getting himself ready, getting back on track. He defeated Christian, got himself some momentum behind him. That past month, leading up to Elimination Chamber, it looked like could have been Cody's time. And he defeated 4 opponents. He entered Ryback's gauntlet, and he passed with flying colors. I mean, he defeated every single one of the opponents Ryback set in place for him. However, when the night came in Elimination Chamber, Cody Rhodes just couldn't get the job done. He came close. He put up a really good fight. But in the end, Ryback, he was just too strong, too dominant for Cody Rhodes to defeat. And then, of course, we take a look at the other 2 challengers, Titus O'Neil and Darren Young, who, as the primetime players, they were always in the mix in the tag team division, although they just couldn't quite win the tag team titles. They had all the tools, but for some reason, they just, whenever the titles were on the line and they had their shot, they just couldn't get the job done, whether it was due to outside interference, like at Survivor Series, where Tons of Funk, aka the main event players, they stuck their nose into that business. And then there was, more recently, leading up to the Royal Rumble, where the primetime players had their shot at the Wyatt family, and they were unsuccessful there. And then eventually, it all just boiled over for those 2 men. Titus O'Neil, he couldn't take it anymore. He felt Darren Young was holding him back. And, of course, at the Elimination Chamber, when they faced off in singles competition, Titus got the win. Although in the past, Darren has defeated Titus O'Neil twice in singles competition. But perhaps this is an all-new Titus O'Neil. This is the alpha male, the real deal. Titus O'Neil, he doesn't have anything. He said he doesn't have anything holding him back anymore. And he's free to, prove to everyone why they call him the real deal. So you can see Gutbuster right there. Or maybe a backbreaker. That move, sometimes it's called a Gutbuster. Like, I think in certain games it was a Gutbuster. But it's also called a backbreaker by some people. So I don't know which one that is. So if I ever get that mixed up between, like, Gutbuster or backbreaker, that's why. I mean, you can call it whatever. I don't know. I used to call it Gutbuster, but now I think I've also called it a backbreaker. I don't really know. But at the moment, Titus O'Neil's looking pretty good. He's actually holding his own against Ryback as he gets a nice counter in there with a knee right to the gut. And now he staggers Ryback with that punch to the face. But of course, Titus O'Neil, off that win at Elimination Chamber, I'd have to say Titus O'Neil, he's got a lot of momentum on his side. And I don't think you can really argue with him that he is deserving of an Intercontinental Championship match. I mean, prime time. Oh, look at this mean old clothesline by Ryback out of nowhere. Cover by the big guy. but Titus O'Neil's foot was under the bottom rope. That's going to force a rope break and keep Titus O'Neil in this thing. Now look at this, Titus. He's got Ryback. He's going to toss him over the top rope to the floor. And this matchup, well, we're going to the outside. And this is not where either of these two men want to be, with WrestleMania just 9 short days away. And now look at this, Titus O'Neil, back suplex out onto the floor. Ryback's head bouncing off the concrete. And that definitely, that's no soft landing. There may be some padding there, but that really doesn't offer much protection. And Titus O'Neil, this is a good opportunity for him to try to wear down the big guy, perhaps injure the Intercontinental Champion prior to WrestleMania. As Titus O'Neil gets back into the ring, it's the referee up to a 5 count now. Titus O'Neil barking as usual. But the question is, we'll have to find out at WrestleMania, is Titus O'Neil, at the moment, he hasn't really proved himself. He could very well just be all bark and no bite. But I guess we're going to have to find out if he's got what it takes to become Intercontinental Champion like he says he can. We'll see how that goes at WrestleMania. At the moment, though, he's really taking the fight to Ryback. Titus O'Neil could perhaps be the man to win the Intercontinental Championship from the big guy, but Ryback counters back now with a belly-to-belly suplex. Ryback now. It looks like he's about to feast. He's going on the offensive. He's got Titus O'Neil backed into a corner right now. And the referee up to a 5 count, so both superstars going to get back into the ring here to avoid the count out. Both men, they want to look strong. They want to win by pinfall or submission here tonight. And now look at Ryback just delivering those elbows into the shoulders of Titus O'Neil. And Ryback now going for a DDT, but Titus counters into an arm breaker, and that plants Ryback into the center of the ring. Covered by Titus. 1, 2. No, Ryback kicks out at 2.5. But Titus O'Neil, he's definitely looking impressive. I haven't seen anybody take the fight to Ryback like this in quite some time. Look at Titus O'Neil with a kick to the back now. But even so, you can go on the offensive all you'd like. Ryback can take a lot of punishment, as we saw back at Night of Champions against Christian. Titus O'Neil taking down Ryback from behind. And Titus drops to a knee. You can see this is really taking a lot out of him. 2 count, but Ryback manages to kick out yet again. But then at the same time, this Ryback, he really hasn't been pushed to his limit since Night of Champions. We saw how much offense Christian got in on that night, but really since then, Ryback hasn't really been pushed nearly as far as on that night. So perhaps Ryback, maybe he's not as good as he was on that night. Perhaps he could be getting a bit weak, he could be getting a bit passive, but look at Ryback. Well, he's certainly looking aggressive right now. He's busted open, but he doesn't care. Ryback, shell shock to Titus O'Neil, and that should end this matchup. 2 count, that is it. Ryback defeats Titus O'Neil. And although Titus O'Neil, he put up, I think that's probably been one of the more competitive Ryback matches in quite some time. Through a couple of weeks ago, Sheamus did hit that catapult brogue kick. He took Ryback to the limit. Ryback, his endurance, his durability was tested on that night. But I think Titus O'Neil, wow, there's just some thunder here. It's definitely about to storm here. But as for Titus O'Neil, I think overall, Titus O'Neil got in far more offense here tonight on Ryback than Sheamus did a couple months ago. I think it was prior to the Royal Rumble against Ryback. But still, even that was not enough. Ryback still looks strong. He definitely, it's definitely going to be tough to beat this man. He may be able to defeat, even if he defeats each of his opponents at WrestleMania in singles competition, even if he can defeat them all one-on-one, it still does not replicate the environment that Ryback's going to be entering at WrestleMania. It's a fatal 4-way, so Ryback doesn't even have to be pinned or submitted to lose the championship. For example, let's say Cody Rhodes, he goes after Darren Young and hits him with a crossroads. 1, 2, 3, that's it. Cody's the new Intercontinental Champion, and Ryback, he wasn't involved in the decision. So Ryback, he's got a new type of challenge at WrestleMania, so he's definitely going to have to be prepared for that. Now, as we can see, making his way to the ring, it is Wade Barrett, set to go one-on-one with one of the three men who will be competing at WrestleMania for the World Heavyweight Championship, the Rated R superstar, Edge. And we know that Barrett has also been in pursuit of the World Heavyweight Championship ever since Vengeance of WWE 13. Wade Barrett has really been, he's been in the mix. He hasn't quite been the top contender at any given point in time, but he has been, he's definitely been in the top 5. Dare I say, maybe even the top 3. But now that Edge and Christian are back, wait a minute, what's going on here? Oh, Sheamus has entered the ring. What is going on here? Sheamus perhaps going to give Edge a help. Oh, no! What the hell? Sheamus attacks Edge. Ref, is that not a disqualification? Okay, apparently it's not. Ref's going to let that one go. But Sheamus has just attacked Edge. Well, that's out of character. What beef does Sheamus have with Edge? Well, I was just about to mention, with Edge and Christian coming back, they definitely have, pushed guys like Barrett and I guess Sheamus as well out of the way. They've kind of pushed them out of the title picture. And I was going to say that would probably be why Barrett would have a grudge. I didn't think Sheamus is the type of guy to have that kind of a grudge, though, against Edge. But, I mean, I guess Sheamus, he's in the same boat as Wade. And I guess even more so with Sheamus. I mean, he was the face of SmackDown for well over half a year. I mean, he was in the world title picture from the beginning, all the way up to No Way Out. He was in every single World Heavyweight Championship match on pay-per-view. But, I guess for that very reason, Sheamus, he doesn't feel like his time as the face of SmackDown is over, and maybe he feels like Edge has just kind of stepped in and tried to steal that spot from him. So Sheamus, just attacking Edge here. Definitely a shocker there. Barrett hits a spine buster on Edge. 1, 2, 3, and I didn't even get to say that attack by Sheamus would definitely give Barrett the edge, but it certainly did here tonight. Barrett didn't even have to hit a finisher on Edge. Sheamus, with that attack, just softened up Edge. And that allowed Barrett to definitely allowed Barrett to score the victory here tonight. Gave him an advantage, and that was all Barrett needed. I mean, Barrett, like I said, he's been in the mix for the World Heavyweight Championship, really ever since Vengeance. But, he just hasn't quite been able to step up to definitively claim that #1 contender spot. But this win over Edge could very well get him in the right direction. Well, that's it for this episode. I want to thank you all for watching this edition of SmackDown. Be sure to stay tuned for the next one. And until that time comes, keep on YouTubing.